please ignore my nails. They need to get done. And that's the first and only time I'm gonna say it. So this video is gonna be a little bit of a hot take, and I just wanna hear how you feel about it. A year ago, me could not imagine showing up to a wedding without my hair like done. And when I say done, I mean done up. You know what I mean? Like extensions, like some nice little braids, French braids, boho braids, something cute. I couldn't imagine even brunching, getting invited to brunch with the girlies, showing up there without my hair done. Excuse me. So it's kind of not traditional to, at least for the girlies, for the baddies, to show up to something big as just your plain natural self. I wonder if that's something that we can challenge. And so in this video, we're going to talk specifically about vacation hair. And so for all the reasons to love your natural hair again, welcome to my channel. I am Nadia, and this is the MANELife. So your girl has been sick, so if you can hear it in my voice, please bear with me. And so I guess it's not lost on me too that we are products of our environment. And so we were kind of taught that vacation hair looks a certain way. Birthday hair looks a certain way. Graduation hair looks a certain way. You're gonna be a bride. Bride hair looks a certain way. Bridesmaid's hair looks a certain way. You're going on a job interview. That job interview hair should look, you know what I mean? So there's rules that's put in place that we've kind of lived by, which is okay. But then we've lived by them feeling like we cannot redefine them. And I feel like we're at that place. Girl, I feel like we're at that place where we can start defining things for ourselves. Okay? Period. And not saying there's anything wrong with showing up with extensions either, or with a nice little bust down either. There's nothing wrong. Again, it's the dependency, the feeling like you cannot show up without them. That is the problem. As you can see today, I have extensions in. So these are actually like plant-based hair. And there's a video explaining what even that means, but these are very much extensions and I feel just as beautiful in them as I feel in my actual natural hair. And so right now I'm actually on vacation. I was working with a plant-based brand, and then we're talking about the timing of when I would be able to get the hair done and film the video and give my honest feedback. And so thinking back now, it's like naturally timing my hair getting done to the time that I'm traveling. In retrospect now, it's like, why did that come to me so naturally? Why was that such a given? That, I mean, if you're traveling and you're gonna get hair, just time it around the time that you travel. I didn't even think about it, it happened. But then there was another time too when I ended up going to sort of a weekend getaway with friends, and I had my mini twists in. And for the first time in my life, I didn't worry about what my hair would look like for this trip. I was, of course, worried about my toothbrush, the personal care items. What am I gonna wear? What heels am I gonna get? Okay, I need to get my lotion. I need to make sure I have this, gas in the car. We need to have groceries, and hair never came up as one of those big priorities. Maybe because it wasn't my birthday, maybe because I was celebrating someone else. But even then, like back in the day, me, if I know I'm gonna be taking pictures, I need to be pictures ready. And pictures ready means what? Everything except my own hair. But on that trip, we just got up and we went, and I realized after the fact, actually, when I returned, that I didn't really plan for my hair, but I think it actually came out cute. And not only did my hair come out cute, but the way that I felt during the vacation, how weightless, how so unbothered, how confident I felt was so heavy. Like it was so thick in the air that you kind of really wish that the people around you saw that and they were like, you know what, girl, let me try this too, kind of thing, you know? But it's just so interesting, the contrast, you know, of just like going out, unintentionally planning your hair, going out and actually having a blast. And then the other contrast of being intentional about your hair is and still having a blast and still feeling beautiful, but then almost feeling like you didn't have to do all that to feel that way because it was already there. You didn't have to search for it. Wow, I'm rambling. So I just wanted to say that if you've made it this far into the video and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope that you can subscribe. And so if you have watched this until the end, my challenge to you, as well as myself, is I wonder what is the best that could happen if we were a little resistant and we engaged in these very small acts of resistance every single day. In other words, because what the heck are you talking about, girl? What is the best that could happen if I show up to an interview in my Afro? Like if I have a TWA, what if I show up to an interview in an Afro? Corporate. What could go right if I walked across the stage in cornrows with no extensions. What is the best that could happen if I showed up to my best friend's wedding in mini braids, in Bantu knots? What is the best that could happen? The ripple effect of small rebellions would then equal to a cultural shift, a cultural change. Normalizing these things that were once strange, taboo. Who do you think you are? It's exciting. It's scary at first, but it gets exciting. What is the best that could happen if I showed up here in a kaba? In a little dress. What is the best that could happen if we didn't force our hair to change, but we just forced society to open its eyes, to be more receptive, to embrace, not just embrace us, but encourage us in our natural state? What is the best that could happen if we change this, not for ourselves, I guess, but for the girlies that are coming after us? But I guess the interesting thing is that it can only be done as a collective, as a group. We cannot see a big impact unless we unite and we decide for ourselves. This is what is quiet rebellion, or maybe a loud rebellion. This is what it's gonna give. And it's not gonna happen overnight, but it's gonna happen regardless. What could go right if I have a daughter, which I don't, but I have little nieces. If I had a daughter and I sent her on the first day of school in her natural hair, or on picture day in her natural hair, those small acts of resistance, what could go right if I choose mini twists for a birthday photo shoot when I could just as easily do a bust down? And so I hope that this video inspired you in some way, shape, or form, and I hope that you can watch another video of mine. I'll see you there.